Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing this morning? Happy Wednesday. Good morning, Deidre. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you. Good morning. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, coolest dad. Good morning. We're going to have some fun today. Y'all want to cut up some jeans today? I have an idea. It's kind of a off way we're going to do. I'm good. I am good. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Good morning, Sass. We got a few. We got one on YouTube. Always Gigi. Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? We're going to have some fun today, y'all. Y'all ready to have some fun? So, thinking what we're going to do. So, I took a pair of my husband's jeans he no longer wears. So, I'm like, sleepy. Someone was snoring. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It happens. It happens. Good morning. Good morning. You're going to switch to TT. All right. I think that light just blares on that screen. So, I don't know if there's another way to change the way it does that, but kind of glares on there. So good morning. Good morning. So mirror, thank you, Cynthia. So you got to remind me of these things. I worked on the binding quilt yesterday. Can you use 3? Absolutely. So you can use whatever size strips you want, because the strips that you use, and especially if you're using a higher loft batting on that quilt, you'd want to use a bigger strip. So, but however long you want that binding, or however wide you want that binding. Good morning, Maddie. You can use a bigger strip. That way you have a bigger binding on there. So yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Good morning, Miss Pearl. Good morning. Good morning. So yes, today's jean day. So I thought I have an idea. Because like I said, stole a pair of pants. So I'm good. How are you? It was nice seeing you yesterday, Miss Lisa. It was nice seeing you yesterday. I'm hoping, I don't know how wide these are. We're going to find out. And see, because my idea is to take and cut a square from these. And then on the middle of the square, we're going to cut these up. But on the middle of the square, my idea is, let me press one of these. Because what I was thinking about doing is taking and sewing. Let me get this press. I got a few of them sitting over here for us to use. So what I'm thinking about doing is taking these, because I got a few over here, taking these, centering it in the square, stitching around it just on the raw edge, And then we're going to take and throw it in the embroidery machine and quilt it. So we're going to see how quilting on the jeans goes. We're going to see how it goes. What do you think? That work for you guys? Because I think it'd be kind of cool. I think it'll be kind of, just something different. We just want to see how it works on jeans. So let's do something easy. I like easy. Easy's good. So let's try it. All right. So I'm thinking what we need to do. Yes. Yeah. I think it'll be good. So I'm thinking, let's see how many squares we can get out of these jeans. I told my husband this morning, I was like, I'm cutting your jeans up. I am cutting your jeans up. He's like, why you got to pick on my jeans? Same universal needle. I don't ever swap needles. I think we'll be fine on that one. Send me a message and I can send you the information for it. Send me the message. I'll send you the information for it. So are those not fun transfers? I got a few of those, the little gnomes. The gnomes are fun. Good morning, Emma. Good morning. So, all right. So I think first thing we got to do is, how are we going to cut these up? Do we want to just cut the legs? Because we could literally just cut the legs off here. I'm thinking what we need to do is cut the legs. Once I cut the leg off, I'm going to cut a leg off. So let's do this. We're just going to cut it off. I'm giving him some short shorts. Here you go, honey. Remember the, what are they called? Daisy Dukes? Daisy Dukes. I'm going to give him some Daisy Dukes. That'd be kind of funny. They're like, all right, here you go, honey. You got some Daisy Dukes. You can see his chew can in there. That's kind of funny. All right. We're going to throw that down there. I may do something else with that. So we're going to move y'all that way so you can see. We're going to have to come back this way. Sorry on YouTube because, all right, there we go. So I'm thinking, let's measure that. I'm thinking, how big is that? Ooh, we could probably get a 9-inch square. I'm thinking we can get a 9-inch square. So I'm thinking what we're going to do is we're going to cut. We could probably do, because you don't want to have that seam. So we're going to cut that seam out of here. We're going to cut, I could literally seam rip it that way, but that'd be a pain in the arse. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. I was like, oh, I considered for a minute. And I'm like, yeah, nope, I'm done considering. I'm done considering that one. So we're just going to cut this seam out of here. We're just flying by the seat of our pants today, y'all. Oh, that's a thick one there. Okay, there's that one. Then we have another seam. Then, yeah, we're going to have to get rid of that one too. We may end up having to like do, because jeans are thick. Jeans are thick. That one down there is like really thick. We're going to cut this one up too. Cut that one up too. We're going to see what we end up with here. We'll see what we end up here. Okay. I almost think you could use that for, we might keep that for something. We might keep that for something. Who knows? It might be good for something. Then we're going to cut this side off. That one is not going to keep that one. Okay. So let's see. Let's see what we got. We got another leg. We'll keep that leg. We'll keep that leg. So we're going to come up here. Thinking. Let's see how big we got here. I got some squares over here, so we can just square that up. How we doing this morning? I bedazzled senior year jeans with fringe at the seam, and it was an experience. Nice, very cool. I clean them up and make beaded bracelet. Ooh, nice idea. I've had my dad's clothes in a bin for 3 years, waiting for an inspiration for a quilt. You are very welcome, Darcy. You are very welcome. I think this one's going to be cool. I do. I think it's going to be cool. I think so. Let me look. Hold on. I need a square over here. You could make a small pouch. Yeah, you could, Pearl. You totally make small. I'm moving y'all over just for a minute because I got to grab a square over here. Hold on. My rulers are over here. Okay, so I'm going to look and see what size we're going to do here. I think half that one we're going to do because that one, yeah, that one's too big. That one's too big, so we can't do that one. So this one is 8.5 inch. We could do an 8.5 inch. I wonder if we could get 2. Can we get 2 of you? Can we do it? Ooh! We're getting 8.5, y'all. We're going to get 8.5. Yay! Okay, so let's get that rotary cutter. I get excited, y'all. We're going to have some fun. We are going to have some fun. I like to have fun. Who likes to have fun? We're going to have some fun here. So, did you keep the top part of the jeans? I did. I had the top. You can make it back. Yeah. Might have to do that. We're going to have some fun with it. We'll have some fun. Okay. first thing we're going to do is we're going to come here. I think we'll cut this side first. We're going to cut this side first. We're going to see how many of these 8-inch blocks we can get out of here, y'all. I think we can get a few. Where's my rotary? There you are. We're going to see how many we can get. Can y'all see what I'm doing? Y'all can see what I'm doing. Bring y'all over there. There we go. I need a bear for my husband's jeans after he passed away to give the kids. Nancy, you should make you one. I have the pattern. What kind of? It's y'all. This is a cool iron. So very cool iron. Very cool. Thank you. That's SpongeBob. SpongeBob is cool. Very cool. Very, very cool. Oh, she already made. Oh, okay. Got you. Okay, so rotary mat, y'all. When I had a bigger place, my husband had made me a big one of these rotary mats, quilt iron. So Panasonic. I can send you the information. Just send me a message and I send you the information on it. Okay. Yeah, we have an 8.5 inch square. Let's see how many we're gonna get. Hoping we can get a few of these. Here. So I think we can do this. We can do this here. There's another one, and that's 2. This is exciting. We got 2 so far. Okay. So can we get one more? I don't know if it's wide enough. We're going to see if it's wide enough. Tell me it's wide enough. Yay, we can do one more, y'all. That's 3 out of 1 leg. Honey, I cut 3 squares out of your leg. Ha ha. Okay. That's pretty good. I wasn't expecting to get 3, so that is pretty good. Yay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to show y'all what we're going to do with these because we're fixing to have some fun with these. Y'all. Okay, so let's put this down. We'll come back to this because we got to cut the other leg up. But first thing we're going to do is we are going to put you over there. So let's iron these. I'm going to put some best press on them. We're going to iron these down. We're going to find the center on those. Or try to find the center as close as I can get anyways. Close as I can get. Gotta train that square to go flat there. Train that square to go flat. So the idea is I'm going to grab this one. So we have this one pressed already. So I'm going to grab this square. So I've added a transfer to these, to this. It's just a charm pack. I had a little charm pack. So I added a transfer to it. So my idea is to, those denim strips need to go in the bag for, yes, I have a box. I have a box for the abstract quilt retreat we're doing. I have a box and I keep adding stuff. So my idea is to take and do this, y'all. This is my idea. So I'm thinking about taking this and doing my favorite stitch. We're going to do my favorite stitch and go around all the way around this quilt square. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, good morning, Jenna. We're going to take and load this into, we're going to sandwich it, load it into the embroidery machine, and we're going to quilt that. We are going to quilt that. So we've got 3 of these we can do. So let's see what other ones we can do. So I have that one. How about a snail? Y'all like a snail? I'm thinking this one's kind of cute. I think he's kind of cute. So I'm thinking we're going to do that one because we got 3 of these we can do. So I'm going to press that one on there because I have that one. Let's see, I don't know. I like the frog too. We can do 3 right now. Is the frog okay? Y'all like frogs? Frog's cute. frogs are cute. Because I think, we got a flash goal. Let's see what our flash goal is this morning, y'all. Flash goal. Ooh, heart me's 16 heart me's. Man, they're pushing it this morning, y'all. They're pushing it. Okay, so gnomes so cute. Aren't they the cutest thing? Aren't they the cutest thing? So we'll thank. Good morning, Jules. Thank you. So I think what we'll do is we're gonna do the frog. We're gonna do the little wolf. And then we'll do the little snail. And then we got 3 more to do on the other legs. So we'll get you're good. You're good. You're good. I just appreciate y'all hanging out with me in the morning. I appreciate y'all hanging out. So, okay. So let's do this. Let's get him pressed on here. And then we'll move over to the sewing machine. And I'm thinking we're going to use some fun variegated thread on these, y'all. We're going to use some fun variegated thread to stitch these. And we're just going to stitch around the raw edge. We're just going to stitch around that raw edge, y'all. One of these days, I'm actually going to get because I have a, what do you call it? A pressing mat, or what do you call it? Pressing mat? I'll think of it in a minute. The words leave me sometimes. That there. So whenever you put your transfers on there, you always want to take and put another piece of fabric on there once you've got it on there and give it a second press. Give it a second press on there. Give it that second press. So heat press. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all know exactly what I was talking about. Yes, heat press. I have a heat press. One of these days, I'm going to actually take and iron this guy too. Iron this guy. Add a little bit of that on there. That way, get it sitting straight. Jeans is fun, y'all. Jeans is fun. And there's so many different things that you can do with it. So many different things you can do with it. I was sitting there thinking this morning, I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let's do this. Why not? Let's do this. Because I think it's going to be cute. It's going to be cute. Good morning, Sean. How are you? What are those? So we're doing, so I'm going to be quilting them, and I'm thinking we may end up, so we're having fun with jeans. So I'm thinking we're going to add these, and I'm thinking what we're going to do is we'll put them in there into the, what do you call it? Into the embroidery machine. Y'all, my mind is leaving me this morning. Into the embroidery machine, we'll quilt, because we're going to sandwich it and quilt it. Maybe they'll just be pot holders. But we just wanted to see how it was to quilt on jeans. So somebody had asked me to do quilting on jeans. So that's what we're doing. And I decided to do these with some fun quilt squares. We're going to do these with some fun quilt squares. So we got 3 more to do on the other one too. You need a few. I don't have very many jeans. So I don't have enough to do a quilt with. So, but we can do pot holders. We can have fun and do pot holders. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that, y'all. I appreciate it. Y'all, yesterday was fun. We had fun doing the quilting, learning how to create those templates and quilting. That was fun. And we used 2 different machines on there. We did 2 different machines because we had fun on the Husqvarna. That was fun. And then we had fun on the Brother too. So that was a lot of fun. Okay, so we have that one. Ow, that's hot. Hot. Still warm. Okay, so we have an 8.5 inch square. We got 3. Take my glasses off. We got 3 8.5 inch squares here, y'all. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to center it as much as I can here. So we're going to take, these are cute. These are completely cute, y'all. Very cute. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and center these on there, and then I'm going to take and stitch around there. So what I'm thinking about, we're going to grab some variegated thread for each one of these. So this guy needs a green. So we're going to take, I got a green. Where are you at? So I'm thinking, so we're going to take that green with that one. This guy's brown. So we're going to take a brown variegated with him. And then this one, what do we want to do with that one? Ooh, that one could be fun. Because he's got some grays or he's got purple. There is a hint of purple on this. So we're going with purple on this one. these are going to be fun. I'm excited. We're just having fun this morning, y'all. We are just having fun. So now we're going to go over, and do I need another bobbin? I think I need another bobbin over there. So I'm going to grab a bobbin before we go over there. Y'all, I found out, because I've been searching for pre-wound bobbins for my Husky. Y'all, Class L bobbins work on the Husky, just as an FYI. If you have a Husky, the Class L bobbins work. The Class L bobbins work. They're bigger. So, very bigger. So, all right, here we go. All right. Are we ready to go have fun? Let's go have fun, y'all. These are good. These are exciting. These are exciting. So once we get these all stitched up, we'll get them sandwiched, and then we'll have some fun in the embroidery machine. We're going to have some fun in the embroidery machine. I thought about doing a Christmas theme, but y'all, Christmas is going to come and go, and then we won't be able to use these. Okay. So I'm going to take and set those down there. All right. We're going to turn, y'all. We're going to turn. There went my bobbin. Come back here, bobbin. Oh, come back here, bobbin. And I'm going to turn this machine on over here. That way it gets started. That way, go ahead and gets started. Stay there. Takes a little while for the machines to boot. So we're going to turn that on. We're going to turn that on. Turn you this way. Okay. Anybody new to me? I'm in an RV. So needless to say, my space is a little limited there. So, okay. Oh, guys, I'm actually going to be on a podcast this afternoon. So if you want the information for my podcast, I'm excited because they had reached out to me, wanting me to do a podcast. So I'm going to be on a podcast this afternoon. So it airs at 5 o'clock our time, I believe. So, yes, so the podcast, they reached out to me. They're like, hey, we can't believe that you actually sew in an RV. Can we do a podcast on you? And I'm like, sure, why not? That'll be fun, right? That'll be fun. So, needless to say, it was funny. My cousin, she goes, you're famous. I'm like, I'm not famous. Okay. So what we're going to do is, and I think that light is bright, right? I think the light is bright. Oh, you're very welcome. You are very welcome. Y'all, you get to choose the schedule. You get to choose the schedule on this. So you get to choose. We're going to go there. Move that down. And I'm going to turn that light down because I think we figured out yesterday that I can turn the light down. We're going to start new. And I think we figured out yesterday I can turn that light down. Machine settings. I think it was under machine settings. Da-doom. No, that brightened it up. That's about as light as I can go. Good morning. Good morning. I'm famous to you guys. Well, I appreciate y'all. So, okay. So we're going to take this purple. Look at the color here. Purple variegated thread. Is this not gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? So we're going to take this purple variegated and we'll quilt it with the same thing. I'm thinking we'll quilt it with the same thing because this one right here, I'll show y'all why we're doing purple. So check that out. There is a purple flower, just a hint of purple in this little square. So I'm thinking what we're going to do. I know I'm so close to 7K, right? Y'all have helped me get there. And I appreciate all y'all. So I appreciate all y'all. I'm going to have to put that over my rope. Put you in there. Take this one. Yeah, that's going to get, there we go. Get the bobbin put in there. Like I said, found out at the quilt store the other day that Class L bobbins, the pre-wound Class L's will go into this machine. So I was excited to find that out because I'm like, I need some pre-wound bobbins. I like pre-wound bobbins. I get spoiled with pre-wound bobbins. So I like those pre-wounds. So, okay, so I'm going to take purple. We're going to thread this in here and I'll show y'all the stitch that we're going to use. I'll show you all that stitch we're going to use. Da-doom, da-doom. There. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to take, and I'm going to use my favorite stitch, y'all. I'm going to use my favorite stitch, and we're going to just stitch around the raw edge. We're going to stitch around that raw edge, and then what we'll do is we'll sandwich it. Once we get it all sandwiched, we'll load it into the embroidery machine, and then we're going to quilt it. So these are fun. This is going to be fun. So take and center it as good as I can here. Get all centered. Centered. Okay, so let me move over here, and I'm going to zoom y'all in. I figured out the other day that I could zoom in a little bit. Will it let me zoom in? But now, can I move down? Let's see if I can move over a little bit. And I don't think I can zoom on, I can't zoom on the YT, so I apologize. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to D. So we're going to go over to the D, and I'm going to hit number 12, which on this one, it's called a feather stitch. It's called a feather stitch because what it does is it sews up the center, and then it sews back and forth to grab both pieces of fabric there. And then I always increase that stitch and to as wide as I can get it. So I always increase that stitch. So now what we'll do is we'll come back over here. I'm going to leave y'all zoomed in. We're going to see how that works. We're going to leave that zoomed in because is that going to work? It might work, y'all. It might work. We're going to see. We're going to see what that does. Good morning, Sharon. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate y'all joining this morning. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to line it up right here on the center of this foot. You'll see, and I'll drop it down. You'll see it's lined up right there on the center of the foot. So what we're going to do, okay, awesome. Hey, I'm trying, guys. I'm learning as we're going there, Coolest Dad. I'm learning as we're going. Okay, so I'm lining that right up on the center of, right there on the raw edge. So let me turn this down because this thing's going to haul butt if I don't. Okay, so now we're going to take that off, and we're going to start stitching here. We're just going to stay right there on the edge of that. Right there on the edge of that fabric. And then when it gets to the end, we're going to stop it right there. And we want that down. And then we're going to turn it. We're going to turn it here. And we need to go a little bit further. Turn it this way. Okay, right there. So now we'll keep going around this side. We're going to get this stitched all the way around. We'll see what this looks like. Turn it this way. Oh, that one was perfect. That one was perfect. And you can actually stick the piece of fabric down if you wanted to. Your choice, but I just held it in place and it works. It seems to do okay. Seems to do okay there. But that works. That works. Yay. Stitch this along. And you see how the center of that foot is staying right there on the edge of the seam. Right there on the edge of that seam right there. A little further. Turn it. There we go. Okay, trim that edge. Trim that edge there. Okay, so now we have the quilt square. We'll show you over here. And y'all are getting a close-up look over here. Y'all are getting a close-up look. And you see how it takes that raw edge and it gets rid of that raw edge off of there and stitches it down. Y'all, the zoom is kind of fun. The zoom is kind of fun on there. So are we okay with the zoom? We're going to keep going here. So now we have the purple one done. We're going to move to the green one. We're going to move to that green one here. Thanks for joining, y'all. Thanks for joining. Okay. Y'all, if you want to see up close and personal, I figured out the zoom over here on TT, guys. So, okay. So now we're going to use the fun variegated thread here. So this one's a green variegated. So we're going to use that one on the next square. Like I said, we're going to do each one a little different here. Each one a little bit different. Doom. Put you there. And then thread that one. Isn't that fun how that threads? Isn't that fun? Okay, so we have that one. So the next one we're doing is a little green frog. We're doing a little green. He's just so cute. He is so cute. Cute, 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 guys. Cute. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we'll center him here. We'll get him centered. Let's put you up there. Get you up there. We're going to try and center that. Okay. That looks pretty good there. That looks pretty good there. I think we're okay. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to stitch right around, guys. Stitch right around. Okay. Turn it. And I have my needle in the down position. That way when you stop, you're able to turn. So good morning, Jeanette. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I figured out the Zoom. I figured the Zoom out this morning. So we're having fun with the Zoom. And you see how it's just centering right there on that piece of fabric there. Just centering right there on that piece of fabric. So try to keep it there as best as possible. Turn it. And you're not pushing or pulling. You're letting those feed dog pull. So those feed dog will pull that fabric. So. Get that stitched around there. Trim that. It's kind of fun, each one. I mean, you got to have fun with variegated thread, y'all. You got to have fun with the variegated thread. And you can see I'm having problems with that zoom there. So it's kind of cute. Kind of cute. Okay. So we have the green one down. Now we got to load the brown one. Now we got to load the brown one. And as a reminder, when you're changing threads, trim that thread up top and pull it through. Trim that thread up top and pull it through. Thanks for the follows, y'all. Thanks for the follows. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us this morning. We're having fun. So once we get these all sewed up, we're going to go back over to the sewing table. We're going to get these all sandwiched, and then we're going to load them into the embroidery machine, and we're going to quilt these. We are going to quilt. We're having fun with jeans today. Having fun with jeans today. I cut my husband's jeans up. Fun, fun. Yes. Okay. So now we get that one. You had me scared there for a minute, Cynthia. I was like, did you see my needles loose? No, you didn't. Ah! Okay. So now we're going to have fun with this one, because this one's going to match so this, check this thread out. Is that not fun thread? That's some fun thread. Y'all, the variegated thread is just fun. The variegated thread is just fun. It's going to be really cool because we're going to do the quilting with that variegated thread too. We're going to do the quilting with that variegated thread. So we're going to have some fun with that. Da-doom, da-doom. Because what we'll do is we'll load a backing and a batting, right? Are they not cool? Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. So we're going to auto thread that. So again, what we're doing is we're taking jeans, and then we're adding the square into the middle, of it, y'all. So, and I'm just taking, it's just raw edge. I'm just covering up that raw edge, so it'll be okay. The side of these, the side of the squares are already trimmed with pinkin shears, so they're already like raw edged, and that way they're not going to fray. But they're not really not going to fray with this stitch. So, and I don't start on a corner. I start a little bit down instead of doing the corner. So I don't know, just my preference on that. And I'm centering the foot up on the side of this piece of fabric here. Centering the foot up with the side of the piece of fabric. So, and I'm just letting it go. I'm just directing it with my hand. I'm not pushing or pulling. Not pushing or pulling on there. Then turn it. If you have your needle in the down position, it allows you to just, when you stop, just turn it and it doesn't move the piece of fabric. So keep that needle in the down position when you're doing something like this. And I just use the button. I don't have a foot pedal. So, I mean, I have a foot pedal. I just don't use it. So somebody had said the other day that the new machines coming out are not going to have a pedal with them. They're just going to have the start and stop button. I think a lot of people have moved to just using the start and stop button instead of the others. So. Just centering that foot on the edge of the fabric. Just centering that foot on the edge of the fabric. Because what this does is it stitches right up the middle and then it goes to the other sides and grabs that stitch. So. Okay. So that's easy. You need the foot pedal. So easy squares. I'm going to unzoom y'all. So easy quilt squares, y'all. These look cool, right? It looks cool. So now let's do some quilting on these and see how these turn out. So we're going to grab this thread because we need this thread over on the other machine. So we're going to grab these. 90 in the room. Where is everyone from? Yes. Where is everybody from? I'm in Arizona. Coolest Dad's over here in Arizona with me. You're about, what, 100 miles from me there, Coolest Dad, I think is what it is. My son lives in the same town he does, so, which is cool. Kind of cool. Okay. So we're going to come over here. We're going to move y'all up. New York, Long Island, New York. New Yorkers. We got New Yorkers, y'all. New Yorkers. So we're going to see okay on that one. Doom. I need to find... We downloaded a quilt square yesterday, or some cold Maryland. That's a little chilly. You're from Florida. Welcome. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Thanks for hanging out this morning. All right. Don't forget your coffee. Get you a drink of coffee. So I'm going to take a drink of coffee right quick, and then we're going to continue on. Kansas. Welcome, Kansas. Welcome, y'all. Where are we at over here on YT? Where are we at? New Mexico. You're a neighboring state there, Vicki. You are a neighboring state. All frozen in Maryland. I'm sending warm vibes, y'all. I mean, it's not real warm here, but it's warm. I mean, we were running around in a t-shirt yesterday, so that's kind of warm. So I'm sending some warm vibes to all y'all that are cold. All y'all that are cold, I'm sending warm vibes. So, okay. So now these, let's see. I need a bigger one than that. Because I want a big enough hoop that I'm able to, and I'm thinking maybe my magnet, let me see what hoops I got over here. I need a big enough hoop. I'm thinking, yeah, that's going to be, I'm going to have to go with that hoop. Well, I'm unhooping her. Okay, so we're going to go with this hoop. This hoop is a 10.5 by 10.5 hoop. This actually came with my machine. I'm in PA. The high yesterday was 20. Ow, Kelly. That was like the start of yesterday. That's a little chilly. Okay. So I'm going to put these over here. So what we're going to do is we don't want to hoop any stabilizer. You don't want to hoop a stabilizer. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a backing. I'm going to move y'all that way so you can see what we're doing here. So I'm going to take a backing, a piece of batting, and I'm going to take a bigger piece of backing and batting because we want to be able to quilt that whole quilt square. We want to be able to quilt that whole quilt square. So in order to do that, good morning from Colorado. Welcome, welcome. I lived in Colorado for quite a few years. My husband was born and raised there. It was 16 and warmed up to 35 yesterday. Y'all, it's chilly. It's chilly. Thank y'all for joining. Thanks for joining. Okay, so again, we're going to quilt in a hoop. So we've just created these quilt squares. So the quilt squares, let's look at the quilt squares we created. So we just had a little fun with these, just a little bit of fun with these. So you're in Colorado too. Welcome, y'all. Welcome, Colorado. I was over on the Western Slope. So also in Colorado, had to hop off my sewing machine to answer. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate all. We got people from everywhere, y'all. We got people out for everywhere. It's kind of cool. Seattle. Welcome, Jeffrey. Welcome. Ohio, Indianapolis, y'all, we got people from everywhere. So this is kind of cool. Okay. So these are the quilt squares that we're going to do. And we took and, good morning. We took and did a stitch around these. So let's now sandwich these. We're going to sandwich these. We're going to quilt them in the hoop. And then once we quilt them in the hoop, as long as we have time, I'm going to show y'all binding again. I did do a video. Y'all had requested me to do a video on how I do my binding. It's the easiest binding out there. And then once you figure that one out, you're like, okay, I can make a quilt. It's all right. I can make a quilt. So, okay. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to get a piece of backing fabric. And I think I could just use, because one of those is blue. One of those has got some blue in it, I think, or it doesn't really matter. It's got greens, blues. So we're going to hoop this one. And y'all, I use pieces because there will be scrap fabric left after this. There's going to be scrap fabric left after this. So what we're going to do is we're going to hoop fun fabric, right? That's some fun fabric. So we're going to hoop this. And I'm going to float. I'm going to be floating this square on top. But it'll work. I promise. It'll work. So then I'm going to take a piece of batting here. And you're going to see why I use a bigger piece of batting and a bigger piece of batting, because then we'll be trimming it off there. We'll have all kinds of scraps to go with it, but mug rugs, use it for mug rugs or whatever. We'll use it for something. There. Okay. So turn you that way. Get it there. And like I said, I'm just going to hoop the backing and the batting. So hi, I'm from UK. Well, thank you for joining. Thanks for joining. Very cool. Y'all, I really like that we have people from everywhere. It's exciting. It is exciting. Okay. So I'm going to hoop this in here. I'm going to hoop that in here. And I think we decided that this is a 8.5 inch square. We're going to measure it, make sure. So it's it's right at 9. It's a 9 inch. So we're going to do, I'm going to find, because we downloaded yesterday a design. So I'm going to come over here. Give me my mouse. In here. And we're going to come down and grab a 8.5 inch square. Thumb drive. We're going to grab my thumb drive. We're going to load an 8.5 inch square on there. So I'm just going to grab shift. Why will you not let me? Let's just do this. Doom. Copy. Paste. Paste item. Thank you. He's like, come on, I know you could do it. So we're grabbing the designs off the machine, and then we're going to move them over to the embroidery machine. And these ones came from Juju. These ones came from Juju, if you want to know where these designs came from. So these ones came over here. So we're going to come over here like this. So I'm going to show y'all how we do this. So I'm going to take the thumb drive we've got loaded into the machine. We're going to move those up there. So when you load it into the machine, you're going to go ahead and hit embroidery. And then once you go to the embroidery, you click on that pocket. Click on the pocket. Then we're going to open up the USB option here. So I just loaded the hearts here. So we're going to open up the hearts. So we're going to go down. How big is that one? That one's 5.5 inches. We're going to go a little further. How big is that one? 7.5 inches. We need to go a little further. This one is 8.5 inches. I think 8.5 is going to be where we want to go. I think at 8.5 is where we go. We'll open up that projector. So we're going to load this on here. So this is a Luminaire 2, y'all. Luminaire 2. So, and on this machine, there's a projector, which makes it kind of cool. So we're able to actually position this exactly where we want it. So we're going to go ahead and hit set. So it's going to have that design in there. And then we're going to click on the embroidery. So once you click on the embroidery on this machine, you click on that cylinder there. And on the cylinder, what happens is it'll pull up that projector. It's going to pull up the projector. We're going to be able to line this up. So I'm going to go up to this corner here, pull it over a little bit. And as you can see, if we come back over here, you'll see it there. So I'm going to take and pull this down here. We're going to see if this lines up. So I'm going to put it right there like that. We're going to move over a little bit here. Looks like I need to move it just a little bit that way. And you come back this way. Okay, that's good. So then we're going to come all the way down. Oh, this is like going to be perfect, I think. Come over this way. I think I need to go a little bit this way. Up that way. Come back this way. I'm really liking the hearts. So I know we used them yesterday, but they're too much fun. Okay. I think we're good, guys. I think you're good. What are you working on this morning? So Christy, so we're having some fun with jeans. Today. So we actually took and cut up a pair of jeans this morning. Then we added, we did an applique on the jeans. Open it. With like a charm square. And then once we've done that, now we're going to take and we're going to quilt these. So we're going to quilt them. And I'm figuring pot holder, you know, they could be a pot holder, a big mouse pad. You could do a mouse pad with these, y'all. So I'm excited. I organized my thread this weekend. So how exciting is that? Okay. So this one is purple. So we're going to take this purple thread. Here. I'm going to zoom y'all in. We're going to see if this works. Guys. Doom. Come back this way. We're going to see if that works. I don't know if it's going to or not. We're going to see if it does. I thinking with it moving around, it may not work. We may have to zoom out a little bit. We're going to see. Doom. Right? Isn't that purple? Okay. So we have it all squared up. Oh my gosh. I'm excited, y'all. Okay. I think I'm going to have to zoom in just a little bit. We're going to zoom in just a little bit because I think it's going to. Okay. All right. Here we go, guys. Here we go. This is exciting because it's going to start there. Instead, we're just floating that top. We're just floating the top one. And it should stay right in that square because when we measured it out, oh my gosh, this is exciting, guys. I think this is going to be cool. Because like I said, once we get this done, we'll take and get it off here. We'll get it all trimmed. And then we'll bind it all up. So, and we'll have made, you know, and You could do this. You could have done this and then sewed the squares together, but I don't know. I'm kind of liking this. And yeah, jeans will be really good for potholders because they're thick. They're thick, so I'm thinking it'll be nice. And the variegated thread just adds an extra touch to it, y'all. The variegated thread adds an extra touch to it. Good morning, Renee. How are you? Good morning, y'all. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate y'all hanging out. We are having fun this morning, y'all. I'm loving the guys. The guys are kind of cool. They're kind of cool. Very cool. And it's cool because you could do the same thing with what we did yesterday. You know how we made that template yesterday? You could do the same thing with that because you would actually position it in your hoop with that template. So just if you don't have a projector on it, you can still do this. So not a biggie. This is looking phenomenal, guys. I am excited. I am completely excited here, guys. I get so excited over these things. Good morning from Georgia. How are you, Georgia Peach? Good morning. I love Georgia. My kids were born in Georgia, so I'd love to take my kids back to Georgia. So they could see Georgia. Neither one of them has been to Georgia since we left Georgia. They were there till, well, DJ was 3 years old and Damon was 2 years old when we left there. So I'd love for them to be able to see Georgia. So one of these days, we'll take the kids back to see them. So they were born at Fort Stewart over there. So this is fun. What do y'all think so far this morning? What are y'all thinking so far? I'm thinking this is kind of cool. You know, it's the possibilities that you have with a sewing machine and a border machine. Just think outside the box and be like, all right, let's see what we can do. Thanks for the follows, y'all. Right? Is this not cool? What kind of stabilizer did you stitch design on yesterday with the temp? Oh, so that was water-soluble stabilizer. But somebody was saying, go to your local dollar store and get a shower curtain. Those clear shower curtains. Absolutely cool as that. It is amazing what you can do with a sewing machine. Just, have some fun. Too early. I'm just waking. I've been up since 1:30. So, all right. Let's take this out. Oh my gosh, y'all. Check this out. Is that not cool? How cool is that? This stitched out so pretty. And the back, we had some fun fabric for the back. So the back came out really cool too. So let's come back over here because we got two more to go. So then we have to get, we got to do another hooping. So, right? Isn't it cool? Oh my gosh, I'm excited. This is fun. This is a fun one. You got to have fun sometimes. You got to have fun all the time. How about that? Fun all the time. So, right? Yeah, the back is cool too. So, let's do another one. Let's see what other fabric I can find. Let's find another cool backing. So, we'll have to trim that up. We'll trim that up in a minute. What is this one? Let's see. Hold on. I'm see if I can find another cool backing here. Let's see what we got here. What colors are we doing here? What colors? Let's see. Because we have a green one and we have a brown one. None of those are looking. I don't like any of those. I need some options. Yeah. I'm looking for options. Hold on. Actually. And I need a bigger piece because it's got to be able to hoop in that hoop there. So hold on a minute, guys. Let's see. Because I'm thinking those are trimmed that way, so those won't work. Yeah. See, this is what happens. You're like, I don't know. I don't know. Too many choices. Too many choices. Well, I got batting. Have batting. I have batting. That one's there. That one's a Christmas theme. I'm not doing a Christmas theme. I'm not doing that one. Oh, I've got to get that quilted. Got to get that one quilted. Green. How about this one on the back of the green one? How about that one on the back of the green one? That will work. That will work. Yay, you should get back to quilting. You should get back to quilting. This is too much fun. Too much fun, y'all. Okay, so we're going to go with this one on the back of the green one. This on the back of the green one. I may look for another piece. That way we're ready for the other one. That way we're ready for... Okay, there's that. There's that one. Like I said, I'll have scraps. Just gives me more scraps for the abstract retreat there. Abstract retreat. Anybody interested in an abstract retreat? Let me know. I'm doing a 2-day Zoom abstract retreat in February. So if you're interested, let me know. I can give you the information on it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a 2-day Zoom class. Your first day, you're going to learn how to make postcard, hot pads, placemats, just learning how to do the process of the abstract. Your second day, you're going to make a quilt, y'all. You are going to do a quilt on that second day. It'll be just a smaller quilt, whether it be a lap quilt or a wall hanging, something to hang on the back of your couch, whatever you want, whatever you want. So it's your choice. And y'all, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. It's a lot of fun, y'all. A lot of fun. So, okay. So we're going to get that there. Take the hoop. And again, we're hooping the backing and the batting. We're hooping that backing and the batting, y'all. So now we're going to take and we're going to float. We're floating that square in there. Floating that square in there. Make sure the backing's tight. That's going to be cool. Isn't that one pretty too? That one's going to be pretty too. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay. So now that one's all sandwiched. Now let's go back over here and get this hooped. Get this one all hooped. So I'm going to come back this way. Back this way. Here we go, guys. There we go. All right. So get this one sandwiched. And again, you have your backing fabric and your batting. No stabilizer. You don't add stabilizer when you're doing quilting. Because you've already got 3 layers of fabric. You don't need any stabilizer in there. You don't need any stabilizer in there. Okay. Okay. So we have that sandwich. Now we need our quilt square. And I need to load that green thread before I start doing anything. So we're going to put him in there. We're going to take and grab. And remember, when you trim your thread, when you change colors, trim from up top and pull your thread down. Because the way those sliders are made, they're made to pull the thread this way. They're not made to pull it back up this way. So just somebody told me years ago. So I try my hardest to remember. I try my hardest to remember that. So, okay. So we're going to keep that because we're going to need that for the binding. We're going to need that for the binding. So we're doing green. We're doing green here. We're going to quilt this one in the green. We're going to line that up again with that projector. We'll line it up again. Okay, so I'm going to turn. So this is a Luminaire 2. This is a Luminaire 2. On the Luminaire 2, we have a projector. So if I hit that cylinder, what happens is that projector turns on. And like I said, you could do the same thing with this as if you were doing with the template. So yesterday we made that template in there. Today we're using a projector. So today we're going to use a projector because if you look over here, you'll see there's the projectors on there. It's projecting that actual embroidery as it's going to embroider right on there. So, so if I take this and I'm going to scroll up here just a little bit, you see, so we're going to move this down over here like this. Now it's kind of on the edge, and I'm thinking we're going to come this way. So I'm going to scroll that over that way. We're going to move over just a little bit this way. We're going to come down to the bottom. Just a little bit. We need to move up some. So I think we're good there. So let's come over here. I just checking all four corners here. Checking all four corners. And come up to the top. I think we're good there. Come over to this side. Okay. So I think we're good. I think we're good, guys. All right. So we're going to click OK. We've got the thread loaded in there. We're going to start stitching, y'all. Y'all ready to start stitching? This is turning out cool. I'm excited on these. This is fun, right? Is this not fun? If you're interested in the class, send me a message. I can send you the information on the class. So I saw somebody had asked earlier about the class. So awesome. You should. This is a lot of fun. You should try this. And y'all, we've done this. We started with a pair of jeans this morning. And look what it's turning into. How fun is it this? I'm going to find a piece of fabric while this is stitching right quick. I'm going to find a piece of fabric to match the other one. So I have... in there. I found some fabric, y'all. I found some fabric for the oven. Okay. Yay. Okay. As good. As good. If I missed any questions, please ping them again at me. Sorry. Thank you, Cynthia. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow, y'all. Okay, so we're going to move back this way. Somebody asked a question. I was just wondering if you could ever put them together and literally have absolutely. Absolutely. You could do it as a quilt. We're going to unzoom you. You could have a quilt with these. You could totally have a quilt with these. So yeah, totally. So what you do is stitch them all together and then sandwich that whole quilt and then quilt each one of the blocks on there. So it'd be kind of cool. It would be kind of cool. I don't have enough jeans. Otherwise I would have had some fun on there. So, but it stitches out so pretty. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you for the follow. And the back, y'all, we had fun with the back. The back is pretty too. So each one is a different one. So we're going to make hot pads. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut these up. Once we get them all quilted, well, we got one more to quilt. We'll take and trim it all up. And once we get it all trimmed up, we're going to bind it and then there'll be hot pads. What kind of fun hot pads? You gotta have fun hot pads in the kitchen, right? You gotta have some fun hot pads in the kitchen. So I found some more backing. Then Brown then he'll, yeah, I know. I'm gonna tell him when he gets home. I'm gonna be like, I got your Daisy Dukes for you, honey. I got your Daisy Duke for him. So it's actually a transfer. So it's actually a transfer I put on the piece of fabric. It's a transfer I put on that piece of fabric. So if you want to know where I got the transfers, send me a message. I'll let you know. I'll let you know where I get them. So, because there's a local company that that does them. So we're gonna take this, and I'm gonna cut. This away. And I covered my batting up. So we're going to put a backing on here, and then let me grab a piece of batting because I need a piece of batting that I just went and covered up. Where'd my batting go? That's what happens. I go looking for things, and then I take my batting and be like, you don't need that batting no more. I do need the batting. Okay. So then we're going to take the piece of batting and we're going to put that over there. So we're hooping batting. Oh, sorry about that, guys. We're hooping batting and backing into the hoop here, y'all. So the batting and the backing, and then we're going to float that quilt square. We're going to float that quilt square in here. So I'm going to press that in there. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take our last quilt square that we did, the last quilt square we did here, and we're going to take, and we're just going to float it in there. We're going to float it in there, and we're going to take and use that projector on the machine and verify where it needs to be centered at. So let's make sure that our backing is good. Backing's good. So backing is good. So now we're going to take, and we'll go back over to the embroidery machine, and we need to make sure that we load the brown variegated thread into there. The brown variegated. Give me your thing there. Okay. So we'll go back over to the embroidery machine. This is kind of fun. I was trying to figure out, I know when somebody had asked me to do jeans, I'm like, I do. Send me a message. Wendy. I usually do. I usually create them. So, on here. So if you click on my thing, you should be able to send me a message. So here, let's do this. If I do that, I'll follow you back. And if I do that, follow you back, you should be able to send me a message now. So. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. And I try to follow as many people as I can back. I'll go through and follow, and sometimes they make me stop. They're like, you follow too many people. I'm like, how do I follow too many people? I want to follow back. So, okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn that projector back on. So we're going to turn the projector back on, and then we're going to line this up. We're going to line it up. We're going to guess here. Okay. So I'm going to bring it up to this corner here. Okay, so here he is there. And what I've done is I have a projector on this machine. And with the projector, I'm able to see exactly where it's going to stitch at. And being as I know exactly where it's going to stitch at, works out pretty good. So I'm going to bring it down. Come over this way. And then up that way. And we need to load the other thread. See, sometimes I end up forgetting. Yes, isn't it cool? So sometimes I forget to change threads and I end up stitching the wrong color of thread. So it does not work very well. It's amazing the things that you can do. Right? Isn't it cool? It's a lot of fun, y'all. We're having fun. We try to have fun here every morning. We just laugh and joke and drink coffee and fun, y'all. We have fun. Okay, so that one goes over there. That one goes over there. He said, I organized my thread the other day. I'm excited. I'm excited. I still have some in the drawer, but for the most part, the ones that I use the most time are all organized. I have a little container that I got over here. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start stitching this. And like I said, this is just floating. And being it's floating, you got to be careful, but we know that it's going to stay within that square. We know that it's going to stay within that square because we already looked, you know, on there when we had the projector on. It showed exactly where that was going to stitch. So kind of cool. And what we did is we chose a different stitch for each one, or not a different stitch, but a different thread for each one, kind of a coordinating thread to match. So my Bernina doesn't have a self thread. I feel your pain. My Topaz 50 does not have a self threader either, and I'll tell you, that's a game changer. That is a total game changer when you have that self threader on there. So, Britt, I have the Luminaire 2, I have a Topaz 50, and I have a Quattro 2. And then I do a lot of my sewing on the 980Q. Kind of showing all, and I do, yes, and a serger. I do have a serger, which is a Burnett. That one's a Burnett, and it's a B68. And in an art, yes, I am. So if y'all want to see where I'm at, I did a podcast, and they're airing it tonight. So if you want information on the podcast, let me know. It was funny. My cousin's like, because I posted it over on FB, and that it was going to air tonight, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, my cousin is famous." I'm like, "I'm not famous, just on a podcast." Yes. I'll see if I can post. I don't know if I can post a thing on there. So is the podcast? It's on YT. It's on YT. If you send me a message, like I said, send me a message and I will send you the information back for it. I don't know how to get you there from here without getting dinged. Yeah, so yeah, under the same name. So if you search for me, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Yes, go give me a follow over there. I'm actually live right there. I'm live on both platforms, y'all. I do both platforms at the same time. So I do YT and TT at the same time. So that way, depending on whichever one you want to look at or watch the video on. So you should be able to find me. You can search Carrie Bartling. Yay. Thank you. Thanks for the follows, y'all. And thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Okay, so we've officially done 3 squares, y'all. We've officially done, let's turn y'all this way. Turn y'all this way. Turning. Okay, so y'all, check that out. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring my cutter up here and we're going to square these up. So we'll take and square these up and then we'll go over to the sewing machine and I'm going to show y'all how to do that binding again. I know I've showed y'all a few times and I did another live on it, but there's never too many times on watching binding, y'all. Never too many times on watching binding because once you figure this binding out, didn't know if the podcast was going to be, yeah, it's on YT. I did not use a stabilizer. So when you have, when you're quilting in the hoop, you don't want to use a stabilizer because you've already got three layers of fabric in there. It's stabilized enough. It's stabilized enough. You don't need that stabilizer. And then plus you would have to figure out how to get it out. You'd have to figure out how to get that stabilizer out of there. So it would be kind of hard. It'd be kind of hard. So when you're quilting in the hoop, you do not use a stabilizer. So put that there. And then Where did there you are. So we used this square. So we did this square. So now we're going to use, I'm going to move my coffee so I don't get that on there. I'm going to take and square this up. So I'm going to take, can y'all see? Yeah, you can see. Okay. And I'll use these scraps. I'll use the scraps. Like I said, on that retreat I'm doing, you'll see a lot of these things. If you come join, you'll see a lot of these things being reused. You'll see a lot of the pieces of fabric being reused because the abstract process, you use scraps. You use scraps on there. So there's that one. How cute is that, y'all? How cute is that? This is going to be cute. So now we just need to add, binding. So we're going to stack that up there. So we'll do the same thing. We'll get all three of these all trimmed out. And this is a 9-inch block, y'all. A 9-inch block. Doom, doom. It's funny. I'll clean up my space on the weekend. And then we have our fun on here all week long. And when we have our fun on here all week long, by the next weekend, I'm cleaning my space again. Anybody that's new to me, I am on Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30 in the morning, Arizona time. Y'all get to choose what we do. Y'all get to choose what we do. So whatever the schedule is, that's what we do. Tomorrow, oh my gosh, I'm not sure about tomorrow. Tomorrow's throw Carrie for a loop day, I think, again. Y'all have done that to me a few times here lately. So tomorrow we're actually going to take 2 sweatshirts, cut those 2 sweatshirts in half, sew them back together. I love a production line sewing, right? Sew those sweatshirts back together. So, and we're going to have 2, I don't know. I'm thinking, because we're going to have 2 sweatshirts, because I'm thinking we're going to leave one open and put a binding down the front of it and have some fun with it. I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm trying to think about this, how we're going to do it. I'm trying to think about how we're going to do it. So I am not a seamstress. But we're going to see how that works. Y'all. Okay. Last one. And then we'll move over to the binding. Y'all want to see binding again? And we're going to bind with the variegated thread. So we're going to bind with that variegated thread again. So. Okay. So we officially have 3 sweatshirt would be cute with buttonholes and buttons. Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, we're going to play with them. We'll have 2 to play with. So we'll see how much time we have, but we'll have 2 of them to play with. So we're going to see. Okay. So let's go bind these, y'all. Let's go bind these. I need some strips. I'm thinking we're going to use these strips. I have strips. We're going to use those strips. And we need our thread back. We need our thread because we're going to use the same thread that we quilted it with. We're going to do, because we have that one. Oh, I need my green. I put my green back up. I needed it and I already put it back up. Get you back there. Okay. So there's our thread. So now we're going to go bind. I'm going to turn myself this way. Okay. There we go. All right. Move that way. All right. So yes, so we're going to have some fun binding. So let's do, well, it looks like purple ones first. So we're going to take and thread the purple one. I need to go back to a straight stitch. We'll come back to that stitch. Okay. Get this threaded. So what you're going to do, so I don't know if anybody's watched me do binding before. So with the binding, what you do is, thank you. That is very sweet of you. That is so cool. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. So what we do on here is we take these and you take a 2.5-inch strip. I just take a 2.5-inch strip, and depending on how high a loft of batting you use, sometimes you can use a bigger strip. So somebody had asked me earlier, they're like, can you use a 3-inch strip? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all how wide you want that binding and how high of a loft you're using in the batting. Because if you have a higher loft batting, it's going to be a little thicker. So you're going to need a little bit of a bigger, what do you call it? A bigger piece of strip. So I needed more for my Christmas corner. Yeah. So like I said, sometimes you need a bigger one. Sometimes you need a bigger one. Where did you get that? Juju. Okay. So we're going to take these. I got strips. We're just going to take strips. And it looks like, can I use to doom? It looks like I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm going to take and trim a strip in half. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to sew a strip on the back side. We're going to sew a strip on the, so we're having fun with jeans and making pot holders. We're making, I didn't have enough jeans to make anything else. So didn't have enough to make anything else, but that's okay. So, cause these come out cute. So what we're going to do is you're going to take on the back and we're going to do a straight seam here. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. So we're going to sew a straight seam across here, but you want to have a fold on both sides. You want to have a fold on both sides of that. That way it gets rid of that raw edge. And on the next side, you're going to have your Christmas corner. And if anybody's new to me, I'll show you what that Christmas corner is as soon as we get over to that other side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to sew a straight seam across here. Trim that off. I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to do the same thing. I can do that. So like I said, it'll be in February. It's going to be in February. It's going to be on Zoom. The class will be on a Zoom. So it's going to be a 2-day retreat on Zoom. So, and it'll be from 9 to 5. It'll be a 9 to 5 class. So if you want information and to sign up, let me know. So, okay. So we're going to take and put a fold on this side, and then you're going to put a fold on that side. Doom. So we're going to do a straight stitch here. And I'm just doing like a 1/4-inch seam here, y'all. A 1/4-inch seam on here. Everybody does binding differently. This is what I found to be the easiest way to bind. This is my easiest way to bind on here. And this is the easiest way to show y'all too. On a smaller piece, it's really easy to show y'all how to do this binding. It's the easiest way. So, okay. So you've now sewed this on the back. Thank you, Irie. Thank you. You've now sewed this on the back. So now what you want to do is you want to take and you're going to fold this up, and you're going to fold up to your stitch line. You're going to fold up to that stitch line that you just stitched. Once you fold up to that stitch line, you're going to take and fold it up again. And then once you fold it up again, you're going to flip it over to the other side. Flip it over to the other side. Let me fold this. Sometimes trying to hold it and show y'all sometimes is fun. So when you flip it over to the other side, you're going to see that you have your raw edge is behind the seam that you just got. It's behind the seam that you just got. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to fold that down. When you fold it down, you'll clip it. You're going to clip those down. So let me clip this one clipped, and I'll show y'all again on the other side. I'll show y'all again on the other side. Let me get that one clipped. This one clipped. Just clipping, just a clipping. Here I go with Dory again. I got to watch that movie again. I'm just going to have to watch that movie again because I have a connection with her, I think, because she's just fun. I keep saying that. Maybe I'll make some mug rugs with Dory on it. Just keep a sewing. Just keep a sewing. Okay, so now we have it all clipped. Now we have it all clipped on here. I folded my strips in half, pressed, and then tried to do it. Ow. Okay, so on this side here, we're going to take, like I said, you've done a 1/4 inch seam across here. You've got to fold on each side. So then what you do is you take and you fold this up to your seam where you stitch. You fold up where you've stitched, and then you fold it up again, okay? So let me do that right quick, and then I'll show you again. So once you do that, you're on the other side. You're on the other side. So then you see that is behind, the raw edge is behind where you've sewed. So then you're going to fold it over again and clip it, okay? You're going to fold it over and clip it. And this works on no matter what you're working on. So this can work on these pot holders. It can work on placemats, mug rugs, quilts. This is what I use on my quilts. So if you don't like hand stitching, if you don't like doing, I know there's so many different ways to do binding. So many different ways to do binding. And this is the easiest way I found. This is the easiest way that I have found to do binding, y'all. So, okay. So now we have it all clipped. Now we have it all clipped. Thank you, Irie. Thank you very much. So, so now what we're going to do now is we're going to take and we're going to do my favorite stitch. That transfer is so cute. Love the, right? It looks cool on the denim, right? It's very cool. All right. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put my favorite stitch. So let me show y'all what my favorite, it's my go-to stitch. Anybody that knows me knows this is my go-to stitch, because what this stitch does, it stitches down the middle. It'll stitch right down that middle, and then it'll take and grab both sides. It'll take and grab both sides of it. Okay. So it's not everyone's fan. Binding can be such a pain, but when you find an easy way to do binding, you're like, hey, I can do a quilt because I can do easy binding. Is it perfect? No, but nothing I do is perfect, because that's part of quilting. That is part of quilting, because if it was perfect, it'd be machine made and it wouldn't be this way. So let's look here and I'll show y'all over here. So yes, it works, Christy, I promise. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go over to D. Come over here. Come on. So I'm going to hit D, and then I'm going to click on 12. So like I said, on the 12, on this one, they call it a feather stitch. Feather stitch, blanket stitch, however you want to call it. Thanks for the follows. I think a feather stitch and blanket stitch, more or less the same thing. But what it does is it sews up that center. And as it's sewing up the center, it goes and grabs both sides of the fabric. But I increased that up to, on this one, it's 0.276. Depending, I increase it pretty much as it'll go. That way it gives it a bigger range on there. Gives it a little bit of bigger range on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom. We're having fun with zooming today. We're having fun with zooming. So we're going to come back that way. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take here, and you'll see I center that foot. I center that foot right there on the edge of the fabric. I center the foot right there on the edge of the fabric. Hola, thank you for joining. And so I'm going to put that down, and you see how it's just centered right here on the edge. So we're going to hit start. And what it's going to do is that seam is going to sew right down the edge of your fabric. It's going to sew right down the edge on that fold. And then it's going to take and grab both sides. It's going to take and grab both sides. And once it's done, I'll show y'all. It looks really cool. It's a really cool finishing for your binding. So trim that off there. And as you can see, you see how it does that? See? So it stitches right down the raw edge, or the fold right there. And then it goes and grabs both sides. It goes and grabs both sides on there. Sorry, I was showing my YouTube bar about that. So on the back side, usually on the back side, what I do is I use the same color of thread on the bobbin. That way it doesn't show very much, but we were using white on the back, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So my binding is twisty. But anyway, so let's go ahead and stitch the other side. And then I'll show you all those Christmas corners because there's Christmas corners. So, right? Is that not cool, Christy? So, easy way to do binding. Easy way to do binding. So, again, we're going to start on this corner and you're going to center your foot. Center that foot right there on the edge of the fold. Bring that down so you see it's centered right here. And then you're just going to start stitching. Just follow that fold right there on the center. Follow that fold on the center of that foot. That way that stitch goes right down that way, and then it goes and grabs both sides of your fabric there. And then on the next side, we're kind of going to do the same thing, but we're going to add, I call it a Christmas corner. We're going to add a Christmas corner on the other side. And that's going to give you your mitered corner. That is going to give you your mitered corner because you're like, well, I still want that corner to look cool. It's going to look cool. It's going to look cool. So, yes, I need to take, hold on, I'm going to grab a tea out of the fridge. I don't know if y'all tried these. They're peach lemonade. Peach lemonade. They're kind of cool. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sew a strip across the back. We're going to sew a strip across the back here. 980Q. 980Q. Yeah, I love this one. I love this one, Scarlett. So I'm going to go back over to here. We're going to go back to your straight stitch. So I'm going to find, I'm thinking, so I'm going to cut this one. I'm going to see because I have a feeling I'm going to have to add. Yeah, I'm going to have to add. So I'm going to have to sew. So we're going to cut this in half and then we're going to add some more to the edge. We're going to add some more to the edge because I need a bigger fold. You need a bigger fold on the one side that you're doing, the, what you call it on? The one that you're doing the corners on. You need a bigger stitch on there. You need a bigger stitch. Or a bigger fold, sorry, not a bigger stitch, a bigger fold. So I'm going to sew a couple pieces of fabric onto that side. So a couple pieces of fabric on that side. That way I can have a bigger fold. And I'll show you why we're going to have a bigger fold. And I need to do, where is, I have anybody that's not seen that, I have a starter and a stopper when I'm piecing. That way it doesn't bunch. That way it doesn't bunch on you. So. Doom. Okay. So now we're going to take, I said, you need a fold on the back. You need a fold on the back. That way on both sides, but you need a bigger fold. So you're going to have a bigger fold on the back of here. So with the bigger fold, you have, you're able to do that Christmas corner. So we're going to put that fold here. Put the fold here. You hear this thing will go through 16 layers, y'all. It's crazy. I like to do, like the microwave bowl koozies. That way you don't break as many needles. If you're doing something that needs something thick. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do the other side. So grab a couple pieces on this one because we got to sew some to that one. We want to make sure we have a big enough corner there, y'all. A big enough corner. Doom. Thank y'all for joining and hanging out, y'all. Thanks for joining and hanging out. Anybody that's new to me, just so you know, I'm on Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30 in the morning. We have fun on our lives. Y'all get to choose what we do. Y'all get to choose what we do on these lives. So. One on the other side. We had fun with zippers on Monday. Those are cool zipper bags. I'm not a fan of zippers. I'm good with zippers in the hoop, but you try to do zippers that are not in the hoop. Where are you from? I'm watching from South Africa. Oh my, how cool is that? I am in Arizona. Y'all, we have somebody from South Africa. That is so cool. I am excited. Y'all, I get so excited because you see all these people from all over. I'll unzoom y'all here in a minute. Thanks for the follows. So now we're going to add a strip on the back, and we're going to have those folds. We're going to have those folds on the edge. We're going to have the fold on the edge here. Fold on the edge. I'm leaving y'all zoom so you can see what we're stitching here. See what we're stitching here. So if you want me to unzoom you, let me know, because I can unzoom. Okay, so we're putting a fold here, and I'll show y'all because we're going to do a Christmas corner. We're going to do a Christmas corner on here. So hold on one moment. You're going to see. I call it a Christmas corner because I remember as a kid wrapping gifts with my mother, and my mom's like, you got to make those corners pretty. You got to make them pretty. So you're going to find out how we make pretty corners here. Okay. So now here we go. I'm going to unzoom y'all. Because I got to unzoom so y'all can see what we're doing here. Okay. So last time we took and folded the bottom up to our seam. Okay. We're going to do the same thing, but before we do that one step, you want to put a Christmas corner on here. Y'all ready for this? This is how you get your mitered corner. So you take this corner right here and you make a triangle. Okay. You remember how if you're wrapping a gift, you make a triangle, fold it up, and then it makes a pretty little edge on there. So this one, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take and put a corner here, and you're only going to go about halfway up. You don't want to make the whole corner the whole way. So you go about halfway up, and then you take the remaining part and you fold up to your seam. You fold up to that seam. You don't want to go over that seam. So you're folding up to the seam there, up to the seam. Once you get up to that seam, you take and you fold it up. Once you fold it up, you come on the other side, and then you have your corner. Then you have that mitered corner. So then on the mitered corner, what you do is you take and you stitch down that and across. Let me show you again. Let me show y'all again. Okay. So we've done a 1/4 inch seam across there. You have a fold on each side. You got a fold on each side of there. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to do Christmas corners. I'm calling them Christmas corners, y'all. I'm calling them Christmas corners. So we're doing just a little bit of a triangle there, making a little bit of a triangle about halfway up, y'all. And then you take and you fold this up to your seam, only to your seam. You don't want to go too far. You don't want to go over that seam. So you fold it up to that seam. Once you fold it up to that seam, you fold it up. And then when you fold it up, you fold it across, and you come across on the other side. Hold on, I lost it. Let me show you the other side here. Fold it up to that seam, fold it up, come on the other side, and you fold it down. Okay, then you get your corners. Let me clip it and I'll show y'all. So good morning. So 2.5 inch strip, Tracy, 2.5 inch strips. So, and it depends on how big of a binding you want is how big of one thing. Thank you for the heart, me. Marnie, yeah, so you'll have to try this. If you've never bind it, it seems like binding is always the nightmare. It's like, I can't make a quilt because then I got to bind it. You know, so you try and find these ways. You know, everybody does it a little different, but this is the easiest way I have found to do a quilt binding. And y'all, I have no problem binding anymore because it's like, it's fairly easy. Yes, you should try it, Tracy. You should try it. Try it on a hot pad. Try it on a mug rug. You know, it works. It totally works. So, but let me clip this and I'll show y'all what it looks like on here clipped. So if you look at the corner, you're very welcome. If you look at that corner, see, it has a corner on there. So then what we'll do is we'll take and we'll stitch down that, come across, and then stitch down the other side. The binding was the hardest part. It was, Mariah. It was totally. So the quilt. So let me show y'all again. Thank you. So back here, you have a fold on both sides here. You've got a fold on both sides. You've done a 1/4 inch seam across the top. So then you're going to put that Christmas corner. I'm calling them Christmas corners because Ma was always telling me, she goes, you got to make those Christmas packages look pretty. So then you're going to just put, you're going to just halfway up, about halfway up, you're going to put a corner. Halfway up, you're putting a corner. Just putting a little triangle there. Halfway up, you put a little triangle. Okay. Once you have the little triangle on both sides, you're in Arizona too. Awesome. I'm in Globe, Mariah. I'm in Globe. So you have a corner on a little corner on each side. So then you take that little corner and then you pull it up. And then there all the way up to the stitch line. You want to go up to the stitch. Well, hello, Miss Neighbor. All the way up to the stitch line. You don't want to go past that stitch line because you want to keep that raw edge behind your seam. You want to keep that raw edge behind your seam. Let me show you one more time. So you're going to take a little triangle on both sides, fold a little triangle, only halfway up, y'all, only halfway up. And then you're going to fold that raw edge up to your seam and then fold it up. Let me do that and go to the other side. Hey, Katie, how are you? Doom. And fold over to the other side. Let me show you the other side here. So once you get it to the other side, you're going to see your raw edge is behind that seam. Your raw edge is behind that seam. Once you get it there, you're going to fold it over like this, and then you get your corners. Then you have your corners, and then you're going to sew down that corner, across that, and then back up that corner. So let me get this one clipped, and then I'll show you the stitch. We're going to use it's more or less a double blanket stitch. It's called a feather stitch on this machine. Each machine calls it a little different. It's more or less a double blanket stitch. So because what it does is it stitches up the center, and we're going to line that up right there with the fold of the fabric. So it'll stitch right up the center or right up that seam, and then it'll take and it'll grab both pieces of that. Right? It is, right? It makes it where you can actually do binding on a quilt. You're like, you know, because that was for the longest time, I'm like, well, I'm okay with making the quilt, but when it gets to binding, I'm like, no. Okay, so I'm going to fold this up. Let me get this clipped, and I'll show y'all again. Get this clipped, and then I'll show y'all that stitch. I will show y'all that stitch again. And clips, y'all. On the clips, just as an FYI, your clips, you have a rounded side and you have a flat side. Make sure that the side that's going across the bottom of your sewing machine is your flat side. Make sure you do your rounded side. This was the part I didn't know how to do and was intimidated, but by that I can do. You can totally do this. Now you can totally do this. I am glad this is why I do this. This is why I do this, because I can help y'all. I love helping you. Thank you for the heart me. I love helping y'all. So if I'm able to help y'all, that just makes me happy. That totally makes me happy. So, all right. So we're going to get this going here. Get this clipped. And then I'll show y'all what stitch we're going to use. Thanks for the follows, y'all. Thanks for the follows. I appreciate y'all. Get this one on here. So I'm clipping this in here. And again, you want to make sure the one that's going to go across the bottom of your sewing machine is on the flat side, because you have a flat side and a curved side on these clips. So if you have the curved side on there, sometimes it'll grab or something. You know, you want to make sure that that flat side's going across your machine. So good morning. Good morning. Thanks for listening while you work. Listening while you work. Isn't that like the, what do you call them? I'll think about it. There's 7 of them, 7 dwarfs, the 7 dwarfs. Anyways, so, okay. So I'm going to go over this way. I'm going to zoom you in. I'm going to go down, go this way. I want to show you all that stitch. So Snow White and 7. Thank you, Ari. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to come over this way. So I'm going to click on this one. So this stitch right here. So you'll see this stitch right here. It goes up the center, and then it has a stitch that goes off to each side. So what it does is you line up that center right there on. Thank you, Bart. Thank you. Yes, whistle while you work. I appreciate that. And then I increase it up as much as it'll go. So it's 0.276. So it'll be a little bit wider. So it'll sew down the seam right there on the fold. And then it's going to go grab both sides. Then it's going to go grab both sides. But on this one right here, I'm going to leave y'all zoom. I'm going to leave you zoom there. So what I'm going to do is right here on this corner, I'm going to sew down this corner, and then I'm going to come across, and then I'm going to come back up. So let's take this off here. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take that clip off. So what I'm going to do, again, is I'm going to center it right there, but I'm going to sew down this corner here. Come there, and then I'm going to keep it lined up right with the edge of that fabric, and then it's going to come this way. So once I get to this edge, I'm going to stop it, and then I'm going to go up the side of that corner. That way it kind of closes off your corner there. So now I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to come this way with it. Okay, so now you have a corner. You have a little corner on there. So I don't back stitch. With this stitch, you really don't need to back stitch on this one. So, but it turns out so cool. It turns out really cool. And and how easy is that? How easy was that, right? So let's go ahead and get this trimmed. We'll get the other side done. So now, again, we're going to come down this corner and then go all the way across and then go back up that corner. So let's go ahead and try this again. Trim those off there. Take that off. And sometimes it's hard to start on that corner. Okay, we're going to stop there and we're going to turn, and you're keeping the center of that foot right there on the edge. The center of the foot right there on the edge. That way it goes right down there, the fold. Stop right here, turn it up, and I always have the needle in the down position. That way you're able to turn it and keep in stitch line there. Then we'll trim these off. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to unzoom y'all. I'm going to turn you back up this way. Okay, so we've officially made a hot pad, y'all. Oops. And I'm turning it backwards. So this one is it's all quilted. It is all binded. I mean, how cool was that? Right? Kind of cool. I have 2 more to do. I do not have time to do them on my live. So I'm going to sit here and chat to you guys for 5 minutes because I have to, right? So the other 2 we do that I'll be adding binding to is these. And y'all, I cut up my husband's jeans this morning. If it was purple, it would go with the gnome quilt I got from you. It would, Irie. It would. It totally would. It totally would. So, and no, and it's not, see, it's not a bulky. It's cool. But, you know, with it being jeans, it's going to work great for a hot pad because it's a little bit thicker. It's a little bit thicker. And with it being a little bit thicker, it'll work. So, just as a reminder, y'all, so like I said, so I was telling y'all about the abstract class. So would y'all like to see some pieces of kind of what you're going to do in that abstract class if you were to join me? Well, thank you. Thank you. It was a lot of fun. So let me grab a couple pieces and I'll give y'all an example on what you would do in the class. So, oh my gosh, thank you, Shirley. Thank you very much. That was very sweet of you. Thank you. Let me grab some pieces right here. I'll show y'all because I have them right here. There is that. Okay. So it's going to be a 2-day class. So the first day that you'll do, so like I said, it's going to be 2 days, a Friday and a Saturday. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. Okay. So your first day, this is what you're going to be looking at doing. So you see how this is abstract? This is completely abstract. So this one sews on the raw edge. This one is sewing on the raw edge. And you're just adding pieces. You're adding pieces. So good. Hello from Alabama. So on there, so you'll make something like this. You're going to make something like this. You're going to make a hot pad. Look at this hot pad. So this one is done a little different. This one's done a little different. You take and sew the pieces of fabric, fold it over, but you can just keep adding. So we'll make one of these. We'll make a placemat. I'm going to make sure that y'all are completely comfortable with doing abstract that first day. Okay. On the second day, what we're going to do, check this out, y'all. So we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun quilting. And y'all, if you see on this one, so I've got little pieces of fabric in here, and it's just pieces. You literally take a piece of fabric and you can just keep adding. So you start with one and you move out. You move out from there. So we'll take, and I stitched this together in a couple hours. So we'll have from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'll have from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So, and if you want to do the quilting on it, I can show y'all how to do that. The binding, you work on Fridays. So, the replays will be available. Even if you get the class, the replays will be available also. So like I said, the first day, and it's not till February. It's not till February if you want to plan for February. So, you're very welcome, Jenna. You are very welcome. So, but yeah, so if you're interested in the class, let me know. 125. But yeah, send me a message if you want to sign up for it. Like I said, I'll get all the information. I have a PDF. It's a 4-page PDF, tells you exactly what you're going to need for the class. And it'll be lots of fun. Sure, Miss Nikki. I thought you had said no walking today, Miss Nikki. Miss Nikki is my walking buddy. So thank you for the heart me. I appreciate that. And then also one last note, podcast. I'm going to be on a podcast this evening, 5 o'clock. If you want the information on the podcast, let me know. I can send you the information for the podcast. So it's going to air 5 p.m. Arizona time, I believe. So be kind of fun to watch. They went through and asked all kinds of fun questions, just, on so many different things. So I was a day ahead of myself. Okay, Nikki. Okay, coolness. Bring some things that you've been working on. I want to see what you're working on. We've got Nikki. I'm so proud of Nikki. She is doing phenomenal with her machine. I'm excited for her. Can see the abstract in pink, purple, and red, and mauve, and Valentine. Yeah, that would be cool, Marnie. So many different ideas. So anyways, thank y'all for joining. I greatly appreciate all y'all. Do we need an embroidery? No, you do not. No. So for the class, you do not need an embroidery machine. All you need is a sewing machine. And so as long as the sewing machine, and it doesn't even have to have a zigzag. So there's 2 different ways to do abstract. So you can do abstract this way with that fun stitch that I use, or you can do it this way with just a straight stitch. So 2 different ways. Awesome. Thanks, Nikki. So, but yeah, if you want to sign up, please sign up. Let's have some fun. And it's going to be on Zoom. It'll be on Zoom. That way, y'all can interact with me. You can show me what you're working on. That way I can help you out a little bit more, help you with your sewing machine. Any questions, any question is never, what is the podcast name? So it is, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Because I think I have it pinned on my YT. I have it pinned on my YT. Let me go to my page, go to my channel. So if I go to my post, go there. So Sew Off Kilter. Sew Off Kilter is the people that did the podcast, and that's KILTER. And so SEW, Sew Off Kilter. If you do a search for them, you should be able to find it. So, oh, you're welcome. You are welcome. So you are welcome. I'm excited for it to air. I am excited. I had a lot of fun doing it. I had a lot of fun doing the podcast. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what it's like. I'm excited to see. So I have a lot of fun in my fifth wheel. So, and I have a lot of fun with y'all. So you have an embroidery machine. Awesome. Awesome. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, sign up for the class, y'all. Sign up. We're going to have a lot of fun. It is going to be phenomenal. And there's a possibility my friend from Colorado may come and help us too. So, all right. Yes, we will see you tomorrow. Everybody have a great day. I got to get to work. So y'all all have a great day, and thank y'all for joining. And thanks for all the new subscribers. So I appreciate every one of y'all. So thank you. Thank you. Bye guys.